Hello, everybody.
Hello.
It's Alyssa.
And Heather.
And again, this is not like our normal intro. And we have some breaking news.
This just in.
So, this is a little bit of this is gonna be a very sentimental pod tonight. Yeah. This is gonna be the end of many eras.
Yeah.
And not a complete end to That's Dark, but we're not going to be uploading the frequency that we have been. We're going to upload as we feel compelled to.
Yeah. I think things have just taken a turn, and we both felt the same way, that where everything is in life, what we've been through, we're going to be starting another podcast because, and again, we're not going away with That's Dark. If we feel compelled that we want to upload something or talk about something, we will, but we feel really compelled in our lives that we want to really talk about real shit. And that's like what's with everything going on, I think it's just really heavy on our minds. So
it is.
That's where we're going to go for a while.
Yeah.
So we're not going away.
Right.
But we just want to pivot from the, dark. I guess, unknown and dark. Yeah. And go to something more kind of unknown, but known for everybody. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you guys have noticed, like, our episodes have kind of taken a turn from where we started with, like, serial killers and true crime. Like, it's too much. Like, if you listen to any true crime or serial killer podcast ever, at some point they all say the same thing. Like, it takes a toll on you.
It does.
And it just puts you in this really negative headspace.
It does.
And so I'm sure you guys have seen that we have been posting, I mean, we've been talking about mythical, like, gods and goddesses here, okay? Yeah. Like, we kind of, over the weekend, came to the conclusion that I feel like this chapter has kind of ended for us.
It has.
And then as things come up, if we feel compelled to add to this, we will. We're going to leave it up as it is and keep it in all of its glory, you know? But we want to do this pod justice for tonight and kind of go over some of our favorite topics that we have discussed.
From the beginning, from the witching hour to on to That's Dark.
I was going to say, I kind of want to talk about the history because, okay, so not only is this chapter closing, but this is the very last night that we will be recording at my house, and it makes me want to cry. It's so sad. So many things have taken place here, and that's what can lead us into how we started. Yeah. I feel like for those of you who have followed us throughout our entire journey will remember us from The Witching Hour.
The Witching Hour.
And it was not just The Witching Hour podcast. No. It was The Witching Hour, where we reacted to Ghost Adventures.
Yes, which I'm sorry if... I will say it. If it did not get impossible to download those, I'd still be reacting to
100%. It was so freaking fun.
It was so funny.
Funny.
Yes.
They were funny episodes.
Some of my favorites.
Yeah.
Honestly, was the reaction to Ghost
Zach
Adventures.
Bagans in general is just, like, so funny. And so that was our original beginnings, and they were hysterical. And then we pivoted to the Witching Hour podcast, where we decided to do a podcast. It was kind of like That's Dark, a little
witchy. Bit. It was like history, witchy, all
mystery,
like mystery, history, and witchery.
History. What was it?
I don't know.
History, mystery.
I know it was history and mystery.
Yes.
And witch.
All things witchy.
All things witchy. I think that's kind of what it was. I don't know, guys. We are ADD and we forget things so quickly.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, but it was exactly what it sounds like. Yeah. That's what we covered. We covered killers. We covered pretty much what That's Dark's about. We covered, one thing I do love during that time was when we took it on to write stories for Halloween.
Dude, that was so good.
I weirdly had so much fun writing from the mind of a killer.
Yes.
I had the best time.
It was really good.
I know. Sometimes I think about that. I'm like,
oh. It was good. It was really fucking good.
Yeah.
And then Moss Face. That was when we did video recording.
Next to you.
What was that, like 2 years ago? It was for Halloween. We were doing a Halloween special, and we all dressed up as something, and I just threw something together last minute. I just literally glued moss to my face.
She did. Like, just, I went out, I was like, okay, I had this, like, wig, because I was doing, like, some side stuff and a lot of wigs, and I had a wig on, and I had my throat look like it was cut, because we were doing we were doing killer stuff. So, and then here's Alyssa with just moss. I have that, my screen, it pops up all the time in the living room. And people, when they come over, they're like, what was that? I was like, oh, that's moss face.
That's just moss face. That was so good.
That was amazing. The other thing that I love that I think we did it when we were doing video is I love when we were in that little setup you had and you had your tree between us. Oh God, yeah. Yes, I love that. I love that. That's when we covered Krampus there.
Yes.
And I actually really loved reading about, talking about Krampus. I thought he was really interesting. And I just loved how, and then in that same space, we did the pickle challenge. The Chamoy pickle challenge. Yes. Yeah. And then we started pivoting away from video.
Yeah, I don't remember why we did that. Sorry if the audio's all weird. I had to get my battery.
I don't remember why we did that either, honestly.
I think it was when we got the new mic.
Yeah.
What was it?
I think we were, I don't know why. Maybe we just don't like.
It was, I got that software that I was using.
Yes, that's right.
And it sounded really good, honestly.
It did.
It was really good.
Yeah.
But we're gonna, with our new pod, we are gonna be bringing back the video recording.
Yeah. I think it's good. I think it's good for people to see who you are.
I think so.
You kind of, I guess, to me, when I can watch a podcast,
Same.
I get a lot better of a connection with who they are than when I just hear them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know.
I remember another reason is I have a friend who listens to our podcast all the time, and she said when we did video, it wouldn't load all the time. She wasn't able, because she would listen on Spotify and it would, take more to download or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I'm thinking back. I loved the Titanic.
That was
the Titanic.
History-wise, hands down my favorite.
So good.
The information,
Yes.
I was enthralled.
Yes.
Because I love that when we used to do that, when we would take a topic and we both cover things on that topic.
Yep.
It was super good. Because then you come with stuff and I'm like,
Yeah.
JP Morgan, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's freaking insane.
It's wild, honestly. It's a really good one.
I love, of course, our ghost hunt that we went on that we were going to record.
And I tried and it came out like trash.
Yeah. It wasn't even good. And the whole process was a learning experience. So, to say the least.
Yeah.
To say the least. But I think it was a turning point in my journey.
I would agree.
With how we handle things. Kind of. That's our personalities, I guess. We're just kind of that's the problem with me and Alyssa is that I'll be like, we didn't do this. And she's like, yeah, we are. And we're just like, da 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 da. And we just run into it. Yeah. And we don't typically, and you would think okay, we'll have someone in your group that will hold you back. Yeah, it doesn't hold us back. We're like,
no, yeah, we don't. We just, and that's what I told her, when we were coming up with ideas for our new pod. I was like, okay, look, we both tend to just fly off the handle and make something really right away.
Yeah.
We need to take our time and think and process and get all our ducks in a row.
Yeah.
And we are.
We are.
We are.
We truly are. We're taking the time to really
we're gonna get it
developed. So, and now also we know what we're doing.
100%.
And so to start our new podcast and just to say, guys, it's just going to be real talk. Our new podcast, because of everything that's going on, because of all the people that we meet, because of all the journeys we have been on.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be just real conversation about topics that people typically don't want to
shy away from.
They shy away from, or they're ashamed to talk about, or it's not something that people think they should talk about, or who cares, kind of thing. But it's there's so many things that I would love to hear somebody else be like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. You just feel I don't know, heard, seen, connected. So that's kind of where we're going with this.
Yeah, 100%.
Real talk, but not real talk. That's not what it's called.
That's not what it's going to be called. We think we have the name. We're 99% sure we have the name, but we're not going to say anything just yet. I will put a little short PSA what our new one is going to be called. Once we have it all set and ready to go, I'll make a little separate short video on here. So if you guys do just like us and want to follow, you can. What?
I was saying my favorite. I was just thinking about this podcast.
Yes.
My favorite series was King Henry's Wives.
Oh my God, those are so good.
I loved covering them.
Those were so good.
Again, I serial killers, yeah, that's cool. It really made me feel
Icky.
Like when I had an actual reaction to the game host, the dating game
show.
killer.
Yeah.
Like I had a real,
Yeah.
like I had nightmares. And then we all know what happened when I went to Zach Bagans Museum, and then we were going to do it on,
Sure do.
you know, Ted Bundy. And then all of a sudden he's all coming in my dreams and saying some weird ass shit. And it was all crazy.
That was so crazy.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that for a minute? So if you guys have listened to everything, you'll remember this story. But if you don't, I was preparing my episode for Ted Bundy. And now Heather did not know that I was preparing that episode.
No.
She was not even in the state at this time. She
Nope.
was in Vegas
Yep.
with her family. And we all knew that eventually we would talk about Ted Bundy,
Yeah.
but we did not have it planned. Like,
Nope.
I wasn't like, oh, this is what we're going to do this week.
Nope.
I was in the process of getting my research done the same night she was at Zach Bagans Museum. She goes, obviously, if you've been to Zach Bagans, you know he has like a Ted Bundy, like a serial killer room.
He does,
and like
yeah.
he has Ted Bundy
Yep.
sinks there. Later that night, she had a nightmare where Ted Bundy came into her dreams, and then he said something. What did he say? Like, I like what Alyssa
Yeah,
said.
he's like, I can't remember verbatim what he said, but he was like, tell Alyssa I like what she's writing about me, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I can't remember verbatim what he said, but it was
And
like,
she woke up the next morning. Remind you, I didn't tell her I was even writing my script. Nothing. Like, she knew nothing about this. So she texts me. She sends me a voice memo the next morning about that, and I was like, Heather, stop it right now, because I was doing my fucking research on him and writing my script.
oh no, he said like, tell her to make sure she makes me look good. Or I don't know, it was something along
like
like
that.
that was literally like, you were right. And I was just
So
like,
it was freaky, dude. Like, freaky.
well, the whole time in the museum, I felt something on me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, it was like really making me sick, and I
Yeah.
couldn't shake it. And like, I was like, gonna go through the museum. I was not thinking I was going to end up like people I saw on videos that
Yeah.
were like freaking out,
Yep, leaving.
passing out,
Yeah.
freaking out, crying. Like, didn't think that was going to be me. Didn't.
Yeah.
And then I felt something so dark on me. I remember being in the serial killer room, and I felt so angry at everyone in there. I mean, just this anger came over me. I was so mad at literally every person in there. Like, I could have just gone up and punched them all in the face, like
My gosh.
repeatedly. It was so weird. Like, I was so angry. So I like leave the room, and I'm out there, and then I'm getting sick. And then that's when, like, out of nowhere, I just start crying hysterically and having a panic attack. And they're ushering me out onto the side of the building where people are walking by to go into this experience. And I'm like, like breathing and crying and like, you know, and then I calm down and I'm like, okay, I need to go find Liz. So they open the side, I step in there, and it crashes into me again. I go into a full panic attack.
Oh my god.
And then that night, which I wasn't even thinking of Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Like, even because I didn't even get to go close to his, because he has like different, so I didn't even get to go close to his stuff. People were so
Yeah.
crowded around that area.
Right.
Like, I looked at everything else. I didn't even look at Ted Bundy.
That's the other thing. You were not even focused on him at
Mm-mm,
all. Like,
no.
you kind of were looking at other things. Like,
Well, I
didn't
couldn't even get close to it.
Right.
So I didn't even see it. You know, I didn't get to see any of his display.
Very weird. Very
And then
strange.
that's when, and then he was like, I remember specifically in my dream, he was like, I love that I can touch you, or like, it was
Yeah.
like very like, I love that I can connect with you, or
Yeah.
it was, or I
something
love
like
being
that.
able to touch a woman again. It was very creepy. And then he woke me up by stabbing me in my dream,
Wonderful.
which he didn't even stab women that I know of, but like he literally was like into my stomach, and I woke up with this like horrible pain in my stomach.
That is bizarre.
But it was so crazy that I had no idea you were preparing Ted Bundy.
Nope.
That he tells me this in my dream.
That was really freaking weird. That actually freaked me out a little bit. I was like,
You're like,
okay.
protection.
very strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was I will say I think my favorite things that we did cover were anything paranormal.
Yes.
We didn't cover that much paranormal, which makes me sad, because I love that. I think that was like kind of
very intriguing.
that was like our beginnings.
Yeah, it was.
Paranormal stuff. And so I don't know what happened. Then we pivoted to serial killer, true crime stuff, and then
I almost think that in a way we were like giving to the masses, I guess you could say.
I would agree with that, yeah.
I mean, because like, even though I think that true crimes very interesting.
Yeah.
And I think we pulled out some pretty interesting true crimes, like the one with the guy that killed the woman with a sword and then walked over the Canadian border like with a sword and all bloody.
Yep.
Like, so there are somewhat, or what was her name? The lady Shabusiness.
Oh my God.
Like, but there's some crazy one
crazy.
that I have to say I would never have found if it wasn't for me doing this podcast.
Yep.
And it was crazy. Shabusiness was insane.
She's nuts, dude.
But it did put me in a bad headspace.
Yeah.
And it was like really hard when you're researching all this. But I'm with you. I love the paranormal stuff.
I do too.
And I still love it.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like if we do, like, not if, but when we do add to this pod, it's going to be paranormal. I think that's what it's going to be.
And it's so funny because I know we are going to continue on with the gods and goddesses. But one thing I realized when I was researching Hera, they're almost like embodiment of like, okay, so like generational trauma, toxic parents, male, patriarchy. Like it's such interesting things because it's like almost like the topics we're going to be taking on.
I love it.
But, so even though you're probably like, well, we probably will come in with other gods and goddesses eventually. But like, I just noticed as we were talking about them, I'm like, wait a second, like,
yeah, they did kind of lead into where, and you brought up the symbolism too of like, this is our last night here recording and the end of like this recording space. And then like with us wanting to do this new venture, like kind of closing, like it's just kind of, I know, so sad. There's so much, like, I think I kind of want to talk about that a little bit, like some of the things in this house. First of all, this is the longest I've lived anywhere, first of all. I have been here for, I think, going on 13 years now. Like when I was, my very last year of high school is when I moved in this house. And I have been through a lot. Like I told you, I was proposed to at 19 years old.
Fall in love.
Fell in love 2 times in this house.
Yep.
Had 2 breakups in this house.
So heartache.
A lot of heartache. First time I smoked weed in this house. I like just so many good times.
Not to mention all the shit we did in this house.
A lot of stuff, a lot of paranormal things went down in this house.
Yeah.
I had to call the cops in this house.
You did. You had a naked man burning things in your living room.
It's Sorry. Yep, that's
there. You definitely had a lot of
things that have gone down here.
Yeah.
I've painted my side probably 5 times. A lot.
Because when I first came in, it was all dark.
Yep.
Yeah, you had the whole wall. It was black.
Yep.
And then you had your, I've always loved your aesthetic, though. Like, that's the one thing I want to say to ode to this house, especially this side, your side.
Yes.
I am not someone that just walks into a space and feels comfortable. I have never not felt like comfortable on the side.
I take pride in that.
It is just, has always been like, to me, when I walk in, like I feel at home. I always just felt like, oh, like this is where I'm supposed to be. Like,
I love that.
That
makes me happy.
That's what it was. It was just a comfort here.
Yeah. That's like my number one thing is I want everyone to feel comfortable here. I know my seating arrangements are not always perfect.
I still find it comfortable though.
But like my vibe, I always want it. Like I am such a vibe girl. Like I don't want to walk into silence. Like when I walk in, I always have some kind of music playing.
You do.
I have like I just need comfort, cozy, like something like going, So like I take pride in that. And
you're the one that showed me coffee shop ambiance, which is my favorite thing ever.
It's the best.
You showed that to me. I remember specifically, I was in the hotel for a trip for my job, and I was in San Francisco. And you said, I heard it in the, I was like, what is that? And you're like, oh, it's this. And I've never looked back.
Yeah, it's my favorite. It's
I love, and I'm always finding Halloween. I find the witchy ones or like anything that I can find. Like it's always like themed. Christmas time, jazz Christmas music is my favorite.
Christmas, don't even get me started. It's so like, oh my God, I just love this house so much.
And if
I'm gonna be very sad.
We could have a compilation of all the times I walk in the door and Bear comes up and my treats that I'm always giving.
He was so excited today too. He was very vocal.
Talking. He was like, oh, he never like barks at me. He never jumps up and barks
No,
at me.
he
He was like
was-
jumping up and barking at me,
Yes.
like, oh,
Oh,
look, Heather, look,
I
it's all
know.
gone.
I know.
Because like her space, like Alyssa worked hard and she's painted every wall in this house, including every
Well, I
ceiling
did
in
too.
this house.
We both like I
Yeah,
did
your
the-
mom
I did
too.
the whole ceiling.
Yeah.
She does like the trim work.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really the best at the trim work. I did learn a method. She taught me a method. I'm able to do it now. But she did almost all of the trim. And then she also helped paint some of the walls up here, but I did the whole ceiling.
But what's gone is your personality.
I know.
As far as like the walls go, like
All
you
my
just go little
artwork.
bits and pieces, but like all your artwork, like all that was your vibe.
I know.
So it's very clean and very fresh in here, but
Yeah.
very
Not me.
not you.
Yeah.
You know.
I have
Yeah.
a very eclectic style, I would
Love
call it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am ready to have it designed again in my new space. But I'm very, like, this is a very, like, it's like a good change, like, that has to happen, but it's upsetting. Like, this is my favorite
It's
place I've
finally
ever been.
hitting. Yeah.
Oh my God, it hit me so hard today. I was bawling my eyes out. I was just, like, thinking of everything here in this house. And it's just, like, I don't think that I could have had a better house to have had my teenage years.
Absolutely not.
This is, like,
yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, amazing.
Like to feel like you have your own space as a teenager, like your
Yes.
own house
Yeah.
as a teenager.
to preface this, it's my mom bought a house like 13 years ago, and it has an in-law suite, and it's like attached to the main house, and I have my own kitchen, I have like my own living space, I have like a separate bedroom, but like I never really used it as a bedroom. I just kind of use it as like it's kind of like a studio
Yeah.
apartment, I would say. It has my own entrance from the outside, my own entrance to the porch. Like, it's been a literal dream to grow up here. And I'm very upset. But I get to move into the other house the only house that has been in my life my whole life, is we're moving in with my grandma at her house. And that house I have lived in many times before. When I was a kid and like a baby.
That's nice though.
We actually used to live in the house across the street from my grandma too.
That's
so like
so funny. You know, Liz, like her mom lived right near or across like her grandma's
What?
house, and she grew up in her grandma's house.
That's
going
so
there all the time,
cool.
and that's
Yeah.
like that. So it's like another piece of home.
Yeah.
like it's home.
yeah, it
You
is.
know?
So like I'm excited to be there. She has the most amazing yard. It's beautiful. Our dogs are gonna go nuts and love it. And
you're
it's
closer.
I'm
Like 5
closer
minutes.
to like literally 5 minutes from you. So I am very excited for that. Like I'm closer to just things in general. Like, you know, I don't mind saying the location of where I live now because I'm not going to be living here, but I lived in Sebastian. You know, it's kind of like it's more South Florida. Like it's like the beginning of South Florida, I would say. And it's like it was great to grow up here as a kid. I'm glad I went to the high school here because it was very low key and like not busy.
I do not like Sebastian. No offense, everybody in Sebastian.
Yeah.
I love your house.
Yeah.
When I have to drive out there
I
in
know.
Sebastian, although I will say, like, I passed through Sebastian, like
Yeah.
the main town of
Yes.
Sebastian to get to Vero.
Yeah.
And like, it was so, I was like, oh, I forget it's so cute here.
It
like, when you
is.
pass through, but
I will say, like, I love the I know there's trails, like, where I'm moving to. There's a
Yeah.
lot of trails. But, like, there's this one specific trail here that I freaking love. Like, I'll miss. But, like, I mean, I'm not gonna be far. Like, if I want to come back here, I can. But it's so crazy. But, yeah, I'm gonna be closer to things. I'm gonna be able to do things now. And, like, be close to you. We can take our dogs out.
Yes.
You know, so, like, we can go to the gym. We're gonna go to
Yes.
the gym in the
we're
morning.
going to go to the gym,
I'm excited.
take our dogs on trails. And
I feel like I'm going to have a better quality of life, even though I'm going to have a much smaller area. Like, I think my quality of life in going and doing things is going to be better because obviously I'm
It
going to
will
be near things.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so yeah, I'm excited, but this has been like such a good house.
This has been like my little retreat on Tuesdays.
I know.
That's what I'm so sad about. Like, if I've had a hard day at work and I walk through
Yep.
here, it's just like,
You can just like, oh,
because it's
Yes.
not my stuff. It's not my things. I'm not having to worry about my dogs, like all
Yep.
that kind of stuff. It's just like,
relax and turn off.
and me and Alyssa are like cozy babes all the way. Like we
Yes.
love a good cozy moment.
Yep.
And we love like a relaxing moment. So like we brush hair.
Oh yeah.
We do like chopsticks in the hair and like
Yes.
that comb. Like we are all about relaxation. So like
It's the max.
we do our podcast and then we go and put on some Selena Spooky Boo and we brush each other's hair and we have like little treats and it's just always
Yep.
such a
A vibe.
relaxing
I love it.
vibe. Yeah.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for hairbrush. We haven't
I
had
know.
hairbrushes in a while. I
No.
can't wait.
Hairbrushing.
But I mean, yeah, I'm sad.
It is sad.
Like I was telling Heather that I was considering writing like a letter to whoever buys this house because like it truly like I feel like it kind of like this sounds so corny, but like I feel like it kind of made me into who I am in a way. Like it
I don't think
definitely
that's
shaped
corny at all.
it definitely shaped a lot of who I am. And so I'm gonna miss it.
It houses the experiences.
Yeah.
It houses the emotions. It houses
100%.
energy. So everything is put into the house. For people to think that a house is not a living thing is bizarre because it literally houses all of what's put into it.
Yeah.
you know?
I like call me I know you don't think I'm crazy because you're the same way as me, but like I talk to my house. Like
Yeah.
I feel like it's very important. Like I feel like
It's like my car. I tell you.
Oh, me too.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, good girl. Like I literally
Yes.
speak to her all the
Me
time.
too. I think it's really important to do that. And like I want to kind of like not freak out whoever buys this house, but like kind of like talk about the spirit of the house, not in the sense of a spirit being here, but like just like take care of it and it will take care of you kind of vibe. You know what I mean? And like it's just such a good house. Like it really is. And it's
What is it?
just-
Zach in the garage?
I don't remember.
I think it's Zach.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Oh, there's a spirit in the
Slater.
garage. So
Slater.
Slater. So they will have to. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I just like I love it. I love it so much. As it's ups and downs, but like I would say for the most part, it's like just it's amazing.
You had what people will call human experiences in here. Like
Yes.
you had life experiences.
Yes.
And those are big life experiences from the time you're like 17, 16,
Yeah.
17 to here. Like those are some
Yes.
really pivotal,
Huge moments.
important life experiences that happened during that time.
Yep.
So really coming of age,
Oh,
some
big time.
emotional maturity, your frontal lobe becoming mature. Like,
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Big
Like,
time.
all done in this house.
Yeah.
You know? And this has.
I mean, I've lived here like from a teenage years, and then I moved out for like a year and a half with one of my boyfriends, and then he sprung upon me that he was moving into the army without telling me, and then I had to move back in here, and I've been through like a lot in this house, and I'm just, it's so upsetting. I'm trying
I
not to
think you
cry again.
should. I think you should write a letter.
Yeah.
Even if you don't end up giving it, I think you should write a letter to your
Yeah.
home.
I want to do also like a little cleansing before you leave here because I just want someone good to take care of it. I just want someone
Yeah.
good. Like I just want really positive energy
Yeah.
for
do that.
someone who will really enjoy it
Absolutely.
and be kind
Because
to
you
the
put
house.
love in this house.
Yeah,
It needs to continue that love.
Agreed.
It goes on. I
Agreed.
agree. Now, me and Alyssa very notoriously do put personality and things to
Inanimate
inanimate objects, but I do not feel a house is inanimate because that's why I feel like there is such thing as residual hauntings
Yeah.
because it's the energy that is being put into the
I
house.
agree.
So I just do not feel as inanimate. I don't.
Yeah, I don't
feel
either.
Like
It's like alive.
yeah,
I feel like.
but I do feel like it's like a chapter is closing.
Hmm.
That journey's coming to an end.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start my period, so I'm gonna cry.
I know. I've
And,
cried all day. So
like
let's
even
go.
with like the kind of end or closing of that's dark for now because our life inevitably is not dark.
no,
You know,
right?
And so
Yeah.
I just
What a
it's-
perfect time to end
Yeah.
that Stark.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah, it's an ending. It's a chapter.
Not a full ending.
No.
Again. Like I know we might.
No.
We'll probably add.
Yeah,
Not to freak anybody out. But like,
no, we will. It just more instead of us feeling like we have to come up with topics or we have to figure out like it's more
that's
about
what it is. For me, it
things-
started feeling like I have to come up with something. What am I
Yeah.
going to talk about? Like it wasn't coming off like
Yeah.
easy anymore. Like it was
No.
very much like, oh, Like, and I don't ever want to feel like things that I do are like, ugh.
Especially when it's a passion or something that we're like not having to.
Yeah. It's like, I already feel that way with work. Like my normal job, I don't want my like passion job to.
It was getting that way for me too.
Yeah. So.
Like, okay, I got to do the research on this. And I'm like, I don't want that. Like,
I
so basically,
so
like
glad.
when we come with a topic, it's because we have a passion to bring something
Right.
to that's dark.
Yeah.
So when when we post, it's because we have a passion behind it. And I don't want to deliver anything to anybody that's not passion behind it, you know?
I'm sure they've probably picked up on some of the. Oh, that's.
I was like, what the fuck?
That's not me. That was.
I was like, what the
That was like my cord. But.
Listen, farting on the
I heard it here first, guys. I'm sure you guys heard that, like, there was probably some episodes where you're like, this is mid as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm sure we had some where we're like, girl, like, this is all I got today.
We were just trying to be consistent, right? And post and try to stay consistent, but sometimes that's not possible.
No.
And we're just like, blah, 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 like spitting out something that we don't necessarily feel a crazy amount of passion about.
Yeah.
So right now with the new podcast that we're going to do, I feel a lot of passion behind that because one thing that me and Alyssa both realize is people don't talk about their shit.
Oh, big time.
They don't talk about what really goes on in their relationships. They don't talk about what really goes on in their head, like really goes on in their head.
Really.
Like really, really.
Yeah. Like, you know
like
what?
this-
And here's my thing. Me with my astrology shit, okay? So Pluto has entered Aquarius, and it will be there for, I can't remember how long, but I think like over 20 years or something. It's been in Sagittarius. And for a short period of time was in Capricorn. And both of those are very surface level, very like all about image, all about like you're putting your best foot forward. And to me, it's like fake. Like fake. Like I kind of think of like, you know, how people want their relationship or their career or whatever to just look like they are picture perfect.
They
like,
got it all
everything,
together.
no problems, you know? And it's fake as fuck.
It's fake.
And we're also entering Aquarius and Pluto, and it is time for that to be done.
Be your authentic fucking real self.
Be real.
Just be fucking real.
So,
period.
Yes.
Like,
so
that's what we're gonna do.
Yes. Talk about subjects like that, talking about like all kinds of stuff. Like a lot of personal growth stuff too, because we have gone through
this last year especially. Yeah.
Let me
a lot of growth.
tell you.
A lot of growth. I've been on a health journey
Mm-hmm.
that has been amazing. A life journey. Like I am just
Your health journey led to like opening your eyes. Really.
It opened up my eyes to so much because of what I was holding on to before that. And then like realizing so many truths and then accepting truths in myself. Like that's one thing that happened for me is like looking at the parts that I called damaged. And I was like, oh my God, hide those away and being like, no, like these are me.
Yeah.
Like this damage came from a lot of shit in my life, but like it's not shameful.
Right.
And that's like what we want to bring the fact that it's, you don't got to be shamed.
No.
And we're talking not just even about self-healing shit, right? Like there's some stuff that's like, I don't know if maybe there's no point in me healing that because it's part of who I am. Like, and the journey never ends and it's always going. And I don't know, life experiences, like, and just being really, really real about it. And things that people would be like, oh, I don't want to say that. Like me and Alyssa, I'm sure you've heard of our podcast we'll say it.
Yeah.
We went on a whole thing about incest last
You sure did. That'd be another good name. We'll say it.
We'll say it. But I think that's one thing that I love about me and you is that we're not afraid to be open-minded about a lot of shit.
Like, I think we definitely have our lines.
We do.
Clearly. Like,
I said
pedophiles will never be, that's completely off. Obviously.
That's not even being open-minded.
No,
that's fucked.
Anytime you're harming anybody in any way, shape, or form, it's, no. But I would say, like, we've both been through a lot of shit that I think has led to us being so open-minded, too. And, I think I'll finally probably talk about what I have been through, because, like, I think a lot of people have. And I think I have a very different perspective to bring than most people.
Yeah.
I know I'm very different than most people, too.
You're very different.
I think I have a different perspective. So I'm looking forward to that episode sometime.
I've had a ton of childhood trauma
Sure
that
have.
shaped my whole ass life, you know? And so it's really talking about, like, again, like I said, accepting that damaged part of me and not being like ashamed of her or like,
Mhm.
you know, like, again, like my health journey led me to where I had to really accept a lot of things
Yeah.
about me.
Yeah.
But a lot of different stuff that people don't just come out and say it.
Yeah.
Like, this is what happened to me. This
Yeah.
is what happened. This is where I became toxic because of this. This is
Mhm.
where I end up not, you know, like we've learned about attachment styles.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, oh, wait, am I avoidant? Am I
Yeah.
anxious? Oh, no, I'm disorganized. Okay. Like,
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Just, you know, kind of thing.
Well, we were talking too earlier about me like getting in a fight with my boyfriend, and I'm like, I'm moving to Titusville. I'm moving. I just gotta move.
And then me, I'm like, if I get uncomfortable, I'm like, I'm going to get a tiny home and put it on land. That's what I do every time.
Like, I'm just gonna move and forget about it. New space, new everything.
Chickens. I always go to chickens. I'm always like,
Chickens.
I'm going to own chickens again. Like,
I won't have to pay for eggs anymore. But like, and then we want to have people on too that have been through things too. I
Yes.
think would be really fun.
I think we have quite a few, even just our friends
We
that
sure
can
do.
come on and share a lot of their stuff. Like, I love this new pod because I feel like we're coming where people can come and share.
Yeah, like a
Share
safe
their experience.
space
A safe space.
to just
Yeah.
not be shamed.
Yeah.
So I love it. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
But again, like she said, there is definitely boundaries.
yeah,
There's things that we're
definitely.
not ever going to be open-minded about. There's
Yeah.
things we're never going to be like, yeah, I
Yeah.
understand. No.
Like there's definitely lines drawn.
Nah. Like
You
there's things I'll be like, no, fuck you. Like that's
Yeah.
gross, you know? But there is things like obviously our last thing about incest when it's in boundaries. Like again, not like just incest. But
No,
like,
no.
it was just like boundaries. And it's like for us, we kind of go outside of like what
Yeah.
the norm is. And we're like, okay, but if that's not hurting anybody,
Yeah.
you know, if it's not gross and it didn't start in a weird place and it didn't like, you know,
Yes.
like we talked about, like if
Like
it's
we were talking about like cousins or
cousins
whatever,
or like
and,
you might not
like a
know you
stepbrother.
had it. Yeah, well, yeah,
like a
like
stepbrother,
stepbrother.
obviously.
Yeah, we were like-
Hello. You know.
I know what kind of porn she watches.
Not anymore. Not in the state of Florida.
Nope. No. Then we talked about selling our licenses. Wait, that was off.
That was off camera.
Yeah. We were just
Like we
joking.
could have a whole business where we sell our licenses to people. I'm like, that would be
Watch
really
that.
bad, actually. That could be really bad because then they'll probably watch some really kinky, weird shit that gets us in trouble. But yeah, I want to like,
all the pasta nights, all the Cuban nights.
oh my
all
God, I know.
what's for dinner? We get on a kick of something like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, whatever.
It's been like
Your
almost-
chicken and rice. I was on a kick for that. Like, I don't know how.
lemon chicken is so
Oh,
good.
I'm
You
literally
can still make it.
I'm gonna have to have
Yeah.
you cook it.
Yeah,
myself, 'cause
absolutely.
I'm like your pasta,
Yes.
even though it's just that sauce. It's like my favorite thing in the world.
I want that lemon chicken.
Cuban nights and little treats, and you know me always coming in with coffee,
Oh.
and you know like all the things that aren't going to end because we're going to continue at my house, but
Yeah.
it's just like walking through the door.
Yeah. Oh God, it's gonna be so sad.
Yeah.
I know, like the Friday, Saturday will be my last day here, like sleeping here. Like I'm gonna wake up Saturday morning and we're gonna move all our stuff into my grandma's, and then we got to come back anyways for like the next week to clean and get stuff ready. But I will not be staying here after Friday night. Will be my last night sleeping in this house.
Crazy.
That makes me so sad.
It's crazy.
Ugh, it is insane. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, I think I do you have any other? I don't have any other.
I'm sad now.
I'm sorry.
I'm all like trying to hold it together. It's not even my house, and I'm like,
I was sobbing earlier. I was like, oh my
I don't blame you.
I was like,
She's
I
a
got
good house.
proposed to here. I got broken up, or I didn't get broken up. I broke up with people here. I've like smoked.
I didn't get broken up. That's what you said. I didn't get broken up with.
I like have been through a lot of stuff. I've passed out so many times here and hit my head.
Not from drugs, y'all.
No.
Just so you know, not from alcohol, not from smoking anything.
No, I
Like,
just pass out.
she just passes out. So
Yeah. Oh, I had an incident happen 2 weeks ago. You know how I love my Buldak ramen? or maybe you don't know that. It's like the South Korean ramen. And
I know what it is.
The spicy.
Yeah, I can't
The
do
spicy.
spicy.
Okay, it's spicy. Like I only put half the packet in because it's so spicy. And I was enjoying my little ramen. And I woke up with the sharpest pains in my stomach in my entire world. And I go thinking I gotta poo. And I go sit on the toilet and I start getting like, I'm gonna pass out here. I'm gonna pass out, throw up, and diarrhea everywhere. And then I felt like I didn't know what to do, so I had to lay down on the floor. I'm just laying on the floor, like, oh my god, this is how I die. I was like, I'm shit my pants on. Okay, I have to poo. I have to get up. So I got up. I sat back on the toilet, and I couldn't. And then I felt like I was gonna pass out again. So then I was like, I gotta go to the shower at least. So I sitting there. And I didn't poo my pants. So
That's good. I didn't. That's the phrase I want on a shirt. I didn't poo my pants.
I thought for sure I have never in my life had such sharp, intense stomach pains ever in my life. I was like, this is literally how I die. Like I thought I was gonna die. Like when you're like really, like you really are like, I don't think I'm gonna make it.
I had that happen last night.
Really?
But it was like a weird pain in my side, and then I was like, and then I woke up out of a sleep, and my heart was pounding, and I was like, I'm having a heart attack.
Oh my God. Mine is always like my appendix burst.
It was really bad, and I was like, it's my kidney. Like I don't know.
I'm like, it's a kidney attack.
But that's crazy.
Did you
take care of it finally?
Well, I ended up just trying to not pass out and like making myself poo as fast as I could on the toilet.
Oh, was it that kind?
It was
where it only comes when the pains come?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the worst.
And then but you feel like you're gonna pass out too.
That's the worst.
And
kind.
you know, like when you like it's like so serious in the moment and like I'm laying on the floor like,
no, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly.
It's like I'm gonna die on this floor.
Yeah. No, I know.
And there's probably gonna be poo. Throw up and poo.
Oh, that's so embarrassing.
That's what I thought the whole time. Like, I can't go out this way. I can't.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, I think that's a good one. That doesn't speak volumes.
See, that's another thing that happened in this house.
Yeah. Well,
God.
I have to say to the house that I love her. I think she's awesome. I think she's been a great retreat for me for the last couple years. And yes. I'm going to miss the fuck out of her.
100%.
Yeah.
I will too.
Yeah. And then tune in, guys. Like Alyssa said, she's going to put something up, linking you guys or, to our new podcast that we're starting. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be amazing.
I do too.
Just to be able to just unapologetically talk. And so, yeah.
100%. Yeah. I am very excited. But
we're stepping out of the dark.
And into the light.
Into the light.
Yes. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh my god, I'm sad. All right. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm gonna try. I'm sure by like next week we'll probably have like the name down and like I'll shout it out on here and link it. But thank you guys so much for listening. And for watching if you have watched through our whole existence on the internet.
More to come. Yes. More to come. So
and we'll see you in the next one whenever that comes.
Yes. Bye, guys. Bye.